The creation of Toy Story is simply a milestone in the history of animation. After all, it was what opened the doors for all the blockbusters that Pixar would one day make. So, do you have any idea of the amount of references to Buzz, Woody, and company that exist in other movies and cartoons out there? If you watched the first Lightning McQueen movie until the end, you might not remember, but in the final closing scenes of the movie, we see an open-air drive-in movie theater that exists in the Cars universe. And guess what? The movie playing is called nothing less than Toy Car Story. In this version of the toy adventure on 4 wheels, we can find alternative versions of Woody, Buzz, and even the piggy bank ham. Seriously, I have to confess that I did not remember this reference. Besides Buzz, Woody, and Ham, some cartoons decided to make references to another not-so-famous character from the franchise, Mrs. Potato Head, who is Mr. Potato Head's wife, as you well know. This happens exactly in the 13th episode of the 17th season of Family Guy, where, for some ridiculous reason, Peter tries to sneak in disguise onto a movie set being filmed in Quahog, and he chooses exactly the Mrs. Potato Head disguise. However, Colin Farrell was in the movie, and being part Irish, he loves potatoes, if you know what I mean. For sure, that was not a good day for Peter. And if you stop to think about it, Mrs. Potato Head is also part of the core group of main toy characters in Toy Story. But what if I told you that some cartoon creators are such huge fans of Toy Story that they make references even to secondary characters from the movies? Would you believe it? That is exactly what happens in the cartoon American Dad, which is from the same creators of Family Guy. In one of the episodes of the 16th season of the animated series, in one of Billy's scenes, a deformed boy from the cartoon, we can see that inside his toy chest are some of the scariest characters from Toy Story, like the cymbal-banging monkey, one of Lotso's loyal servants in Toy Story 3. And right next to him is one of those toys deformed by Sid, which has a baby doll head and mechanical spider legs, and that appears in the first Toy Story movie. And we cannot fail to notice that, next to the two of them, there is a box that strongly resembles the Pixar ball. Do you not agree? Still talking about somewhat creepy Toy Story references, what if I told you that the most famous cartoon in the world has an entire tribute episode to Pixar's biggest franchise? Would you believe it? Well, one of the episodes of The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror that is released every year around Halloween time is called exactly Toy Gory, which in itself is already a slightly macabre reference to Toy Story. But besides that, the episode by itself features the appearance of several characters from the franchise in Simpsonian versions, if you catch my drift. The episode is focused on Bart basically acting like Sid from the first Toy Story movie, a professional toy destroyer. And right in the first scene, we can see the yellow boy putting away his toys, and we can see a yellow-skinned cowboy doll that is clearly a Springfield version of Woody. Right after that, we can see an altered version of the Toy Story theme song called You've Got a Friend in Me, but this time sung with the theme You're a Horrible Child, which is played while Bart commits terrible atrocities with his toys.
You put a dent in me.
On top of everything we have already talked about, another Toy Story reference that happens in this episode is that the toys have a life of their own and talk to each other normally, but when any human from the Simpsons universe shows up, they pretend to be lifeless toys. Exactly as it happens with the Toy Story toys in all the movies. Besides Cars, other Pixar movies also feature Toy Story characters as very interesting Easter eggs. That is exactly the case with Coco, the Pixar movie that tells Miguel's story. In one scene, the boy who is passionate about music is simply walking down one of the streets in his town, and if you look closely, you will notice that in one of the stands there are some large dolls hanging. And if you zoom in, you will realize that 2 of those dolls are exactly versions of Buzz and Woody. In that same movie, in the scene of the musical contest held in the Land of the Dead, we can notice a reference to one of the most hated characters in the Toy Story franchise. In one of the performances, we can see an emo-style skull playing multiple keyboards at the same time. And if you look closely, you will realize that he is wearing the exact same t-shirt as Sid from Toy Story. So, does this mean that the boy grew up, became emo, and then kicked the bucket at some point between the Toy Story movies? Put your opinion right here in the comments so we can know! Still talking about references in Disney's own movies, we have one that happened a few years ago in the live-action Pinocchio movie that was released in 2022. In one of the scenes where we see Geppetto's various clocks ringing at the same time and disturbing Jiminy Cricket's ears, if you look closely, you will realize that in one of the clocks shaped like a corral, Woody and Bullseye come out exactly at the moment it rings. The interesting thing is that this is a reference, and at the same time, a tribute, since the actor who plays Geppetto is exactly the same one who voices Woody, Tom Hanks. If you're enjoying the video, subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss any new videos. Without a doubt, the character that animations like to reference the most is Mr. Potato Head. In one of the episodes of Family Guy, Peter ends up needing to get plastic surgery to change his face. And when the doctor removes the bandages to see the result, we can notice that he looked simply identical to the character from the Toy Story franchise. And it really seems like someone on Family Guy is a huge fan of the characters from Woody and Buzz's franchise. That is because in another episode, Peter ends up taking over the presidency of the toy company where he works. Upon taking over the important position, he brings a new and surprising toy idea to the company: Mr. Zucchini Head, which, of course, is yet another reference to Mr. Potato Head. In yet another episode, also from Family Guy, Peter and Lois are at an antique fair, and accidentally, the husband finds a version of a toy that he really liked in his childhood. Exactly. The very same Mr. Potato Head from Toy Story. Could this be a revelation that Peter and Andy are the same person? Definitely not. At another moment in the same animated series, we see Peter, always him, buying a Mr. Potato Head doll over the phone after seeing a commercial on television. A short time after the purchase, the character receives his doll and plays swimming lessons with him in the kitchen sink. It really seems like Peter had no childhood. Speaking of references to Mr. Potato Head, going back to that Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode inspired by Toy Story, after the toys get the revenge on Bart and he is left completely unconscious, we see in one of the pictures taken by them a version of Mr. Potato Head playing at assembling his body parts, except on Bart himself. Seriously, this reference is pretty creepy. And right after that, in this same episode, still in the part about the toys' revenge, we can see a version of Woody, Jessie, and Bo Peep torturing Lisa's older brother to punish him for his bad actions. Now let us talk about references that happened in the craziest parody show of all, Mad. As the name itself implies, the series simply mixes various types of famous movies and series from pop culture, creating surreal versions. And in one of their episodes, they simply created a version of the series Lost, only with the name Frost, starring exactly alternative versions of the Toy Story toys, where we can see proportions of Buzz, Woody, Jessie, Slinky, and Mr. Potato Head, who end up crashing from an airplane onto a deserted snow island, thanks to a dangerous maneuver by Santa Claus. In another episode, also from Mad, we find another parody involving Woody and his friends. In it, we can see a supposed script for Toy Story 3 that would have been rejected by Disney for being too adult. In it, we see a toy simply cursing at a version of Andy. After that, in the sequence, we see a version of Mr. Potato Head who wears an earring in one of his ears, a white t-shirt to hide his chest hair, and loves taking a nap whenever he can. And there is also a new toy that is actually a printer that can only speak by emitting old fax machine sounds that simply drives anyone crazy with that noise. Just ask Rex. If you are a Disney fan, you have certainly watched, or at least heard of, Phineas and Ferb. So one of the episodes from the 4th season of the series is called Troy Story, which is clearly a reference to the name of Pixar's biggest animation franchise of all time, blending the name with the story of the Trojan War. But it is not only in animations and cartoons that we find references to Toy Story. In fact, the love for the world of living toys transcends and goes much further than that. The proof is in the series Boston Legal, focused on lawyers. In it, we see that at a costume party, 2 men decided to dress up at the same time, only accidentally, as Buzz Lightyear, generating an awkwardness for the 2 guys. We'll stop here, but you can still keep watching more incredible videos. Just click on either of these 2 appearing for you. Until next time.